Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
What is going on, everybody? This is Mike Hughes, and you're listening to Skytown, and everything Chicago Sky related podcast and channel. If you guys are living under a rock right now, then you did not see the epic battle between Seattle and Las Vegas, but we're going to get into that, and we're going to talk about everything and more. Game 3 for both teams, all teams, really. It was an amazing performance from all ends of the floor tonight for the Chicago Sky. It was an amazing game. I had so much fun watching this. This was the exact playoff basketball you wanted to see from this team. It was the fight that you wanted to see, the intensity, and most importantly, we saw playoff Emma. Now, if you know playoff Emma, obviously her time in, I believe, 2019 when she was finals MVP, she did her thing. She did her thing to lead her team to a championship, and that is exactly why I was super ecstatic about her joining this team today, or this year, pardon me. This year it was one of those conversations to where, you lose Stephanie Dolson and you really don't know what you're going to be able to do to replace that kind of energy. Now, there were individuals like Liz Cambage, obviously, out there who you could bring in and sign, but it's like, man, there's so many issues that go into that. That's a whole different conversation for a different day. But, you really don't know, what is that missing piece to the puzzle that you understand that at the end of the day, we can plug anybody in and really just be a championship caliber roster. And that was Emma Meesseman. When we understood that, I had great conversations with Emma throughout this year. She is one of the most kind and gentle individuals I've ever met. But on the court, when she locks into who she is one of the best players in the WNBA without a shadow of a doubt. Today, her box score was elite. I mean, she not only surpassed her playoff high in steals, which was 2 originally. She ended up with 5, which was an amazing game for her. She had 13 points, 6 assists, I believe 4 boards, and 5 steals, and I believe 1 block. She had an outstanding performance, and we haven't even talked about the game. The Chicago Sky obviously win this game 76-72. It was an outstanding performance by them, and honestly, going into game 4, I'm really confident in just shutting this out in Connecticut. Obviously, they are a very battle-tested team. They have been in the playoffs for years in and years out. Kurt Miller is one of the best coaches in this league. He's obviously won Coach of the Year twice in the last 6 years in his time in Connecticut, so you have to take that seriously. But right now, the way the Chicago Sky are moving and the way, they've just been performing, it's showing more and more how ready they are for the finals. And I think, not to put, what's the saying they always say? Don't count your chickens before they hatch, or whatever they say. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. But it's something right now to where when I look at the finals, I was more invested in the Seattle Vegas game today than I was in the Sky versus Connecticut, because I understand, who the Sky should be. Out of the last 8 times we played Connecticut, we've beaten them 7 times. And that's honestly, that shows to me who this team is and how they're supposed to close this out. So I do truly want them to just close this out Tuesday, not have to come back to Chicago. As much as I would love to be back at Wintrust and reporting live there for you guys, I would rather just be having them being rested and battle tested for whichever team comes out of the other matchup in the semifinals. On the other side of the board, obviously, you're looking at Breanna Stewart, who, have you seen her legs? Oh my God. Breanna Stewart's entire leg is purple. Like she has more bruises than I've seen on any other player in the WNBA ever, or on a lot of just teams in general. She looks like a running back for the Chicago Bears right now, with the amount of bruises that she has to her body. But she's been hooping for real. But unfortunately, A'ja Wilson, back-to-back 30-point games, which has never been done in WNBA playoff history. She had 34 points in overtime, not overtime. She had 34 points in today's victory that went into overtime. And it was just an outstanding performance by her, Becky Hammond, Kelsey Plum, and company. And Jackie Young, oh my goodness, Jackie Young literally looked like she broke her ankle in the fourth quarter and came out for one of the most clutch buckets we've seen from the back door. Nobody even guarded her. It was something Becky Hammond's been drawing up all season, and it was outstanding performance. We're all over the place right now, though. I'm just so excited about playoff basketball, but let's get into the game as a whole. We're going to be talking about the Chicago Sky right now. 76-72 win. They are up 2-1 in the series in the semifinals. Just need one game to advance to the 2022 WNBA Finals. No interviews today. The Sky kept it very quick. And they only had a few minutes to really get together. They had to get back to the locker room. It was Emma Meesseman, Candace Parker, and James Wade. And obviously we weren't in person. They weren't doing Zoom questions. So I do apologize for not having interviews for you guys today, but hopefully we will have that throughout the entirety of the finals. And obviously if it does go to game 5, we will have them for the at-home game at game 5, which I believe would be Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. In Chicago. So, Tuesday is without a doubt is going to be game 4. But if they do go to a game 5, we will be reporting live. But to get into the box score, Candace Parker with another double-double, 33 minutes, 16, 4, and 11. Kalia Copper had 15, 0, and 5, and 33. Emma, like I said, 13, 6, and 3, and 33 and 32 with 1 block and 5 steals. An amazing performance by Emma Meesseman. I mean, we already talked about it, but playoff Emma is here, and that is exactly, to me, what's going to be the difference if we go into the finals. We really do need to start to do something to figure out Becky Hammond and the Aces if they do make it, and even Sue Bird, Tina Charles, and obviously you have so many other amazing individuals on that team. Let's not even talk about Brianna Stewart and what she's capable of. So you definitely do need playoff Emma to be at her best. We had Allie Quigley went 1 for 11, from the field goal, and 3, 1, and 3 and 29 wasn't her greatest performance, but Allie did a lot of other things. She facilitated the ball. She really kind of just got people open and really just did her job. So I liked her performance. I wish she would have shot the ball a little bit better, but it just wasn't her night. That's completely fine. Sloot had 12, 5, and 6, and 31. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time reading right now. Azare had 6, 1, and 3, and 15. Julie 5, 2, and 0, and 9. And Rebecca Gardner had 6, 1, and 4, and 18. Had outstanding defense. So I loved what I saw from Rebecca Gardner. But again, the storyline right now, at least for me, I really want to see. I want to see Allie go out on top. I want to see Allie go out on top. She deserves this. And an Illinois kid who grows up and, alongside with Candace Parker, they grew up playing each other in high school, playing against each other. It's something right now to where they deserve this. Dana Evans, so many other individuals who are from the Midwest, they deserve this. Ruthie Hebert, like that. I want them to succeed. And I just really want, Allie Quigley to be set up in a position to where, if I could tell you right now who I want to win Finals MVP the most, I think it's Allie Quigley, without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm praying for it. But, right now, what you're really seeing from Allie, I think, this potentially could be the last dance. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think, it's just, this is a big trial for her, and she's been going through injuries. She's been going through a lot. But it just wasn't her night. But next game, she could totally, come out and drop 15 points and have 4 threes. That's just who Allie is. It's been a very streaky year. So I'm not sitting here. I've heard a lot of people in the comments. I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter kind of talking about that. And I kind of wanted to address that because I don't like people saying, oh, well, Allie needs to do this, this, and this. And it's like, no, Allie needs to be Allie at the end of the day. She's going to be fine. She is the backbone of what made the Chicago Sky. Her, Sloot, Elena Deladon, Cynthia Follows, and so many others. They are why the Sky are who they are. And that's something that I'm never going to forget. So, obviously she's on the back end of her career, but let's not sit here and act like she's a scrub. That's not what we're going to do. So I think, Allie Quigley right now, she is doing everything she can to just knock shots down, and shots just aren't falling some nights. And that's perfectly fine. Some nights they fall, some nights they don't. And that's honestly what it is when you live and die by the 3. So I think, right now the game plan was truly who had the hot hand, and that was Emma tonight. And next game it could be Allie. And that's kind of where I was going more with it. We understand right now that Allie is playing winning basketball. Sloot, Coach Wade, Candace, Emma, everybody's playing winning basketball. If someone has the hot hand, you're going to give them the ball. That's just what it is. This team is so unselfish. Allie doesn't care if she goes 1 for 11. Allie doesn't care, if she only touches the ball 5 times in a game. She wants to win. This is about the championship. So I think, having that mindset and understanding that is just so perfect right now. And I love every minute of that. Now, Jonquel Jones had 6, 2, and 8 in 24 minutes. Bonner had 18, 4, and 11. Bonner's been a pest, 100% and 37. Alyssa Thomas, who smacked the absolute fuck out of Candace Parker and scratched her eye and was just a menace all day long defensively. She was a problem. She was a problem, and she was getting to Candace. She was getting to everybody. She played a great game, 110%. She had a great game, 6, 7, and 13 and 36. Williams had 12, 0, and 3 and 23. Heidman had 14, 2, and 1 and 22. Sims 0, 2, and 4 and 18. Brianna Jones had 12, 1, and 3 and 18. And that really recaps everything going on with them. And obviously Carrington 4, 1, and 3 and 13. Kurt Miller even talked about them just needing to be a little bit more consistent from a bench perspective. From their second unit, they're not really bringing much right now to the table, and the Chicago Sky are able to do that on all cylinders with Z and Rebecca and Julie and everybody else. And obviously you have a starting 5 of 4 all WNBA players. You know what I mean? And the one who isn't is Allie Quigley, and she's arguably the best 3-point shooter the game has ever seen. And that's something right now to where when you tie all that in together with the chemistry that this team has built, and Coach James Wade drawing up the plays on the chalkboard, it's a match made in heaven, and I love every single minute of it. But it was a beautiful game. It was a great game, and I'm not going to sit here and talk for 15 minutes about how outstanding the game was. It was a very physical game, and I think right now what we really need to do going into game 4 is just having that conversation with ourselves is, we need to win this game. This is a must-win game because you get the next 3 to 4 days off. Obviously the finals start on Sunday, also Bears Day. So super excited about that. If you see the background, we are definitely going to try to get some Sky memorabilia this offseason, though, for Skytown. We need a Candace Parker jersey, an Allie Quigley jersey. We need a Courtney Vandersloot jersey. We need everything. We need all of it. But it's definitely something right now. We're going to work towards it. We're definitely going to work towards it. It's just not in my budget. But we're going to get there. So, in all seriousness, though, I think right now, Game 4 is a must win, and I think that's how they should view it. They shouldn't take their foot off the gas pedal, and they should keep, slam it down their throat and win by a million. Sue Bird had a great interview today. She wants to win by 20 plus. Like we don't want competitive games. We want to win by 20 plus. We want things to be blowouts. And I loved every minute of that. But to get into that before we get out of here, obviously I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket per se. Full of metaphors today, but it's something to where paying attention to Seattle and Las Vegas right now, I'm so hurt for not only Tina Charles, who I'm not going to say it's strictly her fault, but she had two chances to really seal the game away with 2 free throws and missed both of them. Obviously Sue Bird with a dagger just for Jackie Young to come out into the back of the box and really just come up with this play that only Becky Hammond can draw up. And I loved every minute of that. And obviously Asia Wilson doing her thing. She had 32 points in game 2, and I believe 34 points in game 3, pardon me. It was outstanding to see that. It was outstanding to see that and really just see Kelsey Plum and company really going back to back to back. Brianna Stewart had an outstanding game. She started off very slow, but she really came into her own in the fourth and in the overtime. But I believe she had like 6 straight points in the fourth quarter to really try to put that nail in the coffin, and it just wasn't enough. And that was one of those games that I feel like, especially it being in Seattle, that they really needed that to their advantage because, in order to win this now, they have to go into Vegas to force game 5. The next game for game 4 is, I believe, in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. So it's definitely going to be a conversation right now to where, who wants it most. And I'm personally myself, I've said this all season long, I fear Vegas. I think Vegas is one of those teams where in their starting 5, all 5 of them can drop 20 plus on a given night. Maybe they don't have the strongest bench, but when your starting 5 is putting up over 100 points or 90 to 100 points consistently, I could be on the bench and it wouldn't matter. But it's really how I view it right now in Seattle. I want Seattle to win so bad for Sue. I really do. Brianna and Sue, and obviously Tina and everybody else, they're just putting in as much work as they can. But, I just feel like they get outplayed sometimes. But that's, athletically, you understand that because, Vegas is a lot younger than them. Outside of Brianna Stewart and a couple others, the Seattle is a very veteran-led team. And that's one of those things where you just have to outplay them and outsmart them. That's really what it comes down to. And really just who can handle that moment the most. When Sue Bird hit that dagger, I was like, that's Sue Bird. That's Sue fucking Bird. That's what she does best. Part of my language, but that's who she is, and that's who we know she is. So, really right now, when I look at when I look at what Seattle needs to do in order to win not only game 4, but game 5, they really just need to force Vegas to play their style of basketball. They're a defensive team first, and I think that's really what they need to lock down and do. Now, obviously, stopping A'ja Wilson is going to be one of the hardest things you could possibly try to do, because personally, to me, she was my MVP candidate of the year all year long. She was just outstanding from all cylinders. But, it's a conversation right now to where when you look at Kelsey Plum and you look at everybody else on that roster, from Jackie Young and everybody else, it's one of those conversations to where you really need to pick and choose your battles, and if you see an opportunity to get a steal, go for it. Like, this is go big or go home. Force them to play that aggressive style of basketball that you play, that defensive heavy basketball that you play. And I think that's honestly one of the biggest strengths that they could bring into game 4, especially it being in Seattle. I think it's going to be super interesting. But to get back to the Sky, I'm really excited for game 4. And I'm really just, I want to see Sky fans doing their thing. I really do. And I'm not sitting here and I'm not saying, I'm not talking down on the fan base, but I saw just a few tweets that I was kind of like, that's not who we are. That's not who we are. We are better than that. So I want to see Sky fans represent both on social media and both in the crowd. Like, get in there, get to Connecticut, get to Wintrust Arena if potentially game 5 happens. Support everybody on this team from top to bottom, because that's when this team plays best the most, is when everybody's behind them and supporting them. I know Allie Quigley shots are going to come, you know what I mean? And everybody else, everything else that, comes together is going to come together. And I'm super excited about it. But with that being said, congratulations on another amazing win, ladies. It was outstanding to watch, and hopefully for game 4, we'll have more post-game interviews with you guys. And, maybe sometime this week we'll sit down with Allie, we'll sit down with Rebecca, and the normal individuals that we usually sit down with after post-game practices. But with that being said, this is Mike Hughes from Mike on the Mic and Skytown, only on Mike on the Mic YouTube. Go to Mike on the Mic YouTube. Pardon me for beating a dead horse. You can go there, click playlists, and you can find every single Skytown episode, or go on the All Sports All Plays Network and you can find every single episode of Skytown. Super exciting. We have post-game interviews, we have pre-game interviews, we have everything. We talk to Candace Parker, Allie Quigley, Courtney Vandersloot, all the way from top to bottom. If you're new, subscribe, follow the All Sports All Plays Network, or follow me on any social media platform. We post all Skytown episodes daily. It's super exciting to just be back into the playoffs. So if you are new, I appreciate you guys for being here. Welcome to the channel. With that being said, this is Mike Hughes from Mike on the Mic. Peace.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.